Hello, my name is Serrano Keith Baldio, and welcome to the Texas Justice Review Show. This is a news show. What you hear on this show is going to be news, a little bit of entertainment, but we do not give legal advice here on any of the shows. But you're going to hear a lot of illegal stuff. Yeah, I said that right. Illegal stuff coming from judges and coming from politicians. So what we have, I just wanted to introduce what we're doing with the Kathy Stewart, Serrano Keith Baldio versus Kathy Stewart show. So Kathy Stewart was found lying on an application, and not just in one place, in many different places. And perhaps that is the reason that she asked the city and signed off to block off her address so nobody can see where she lives or who she is or what she does. So she does not live in District 10. She's a very wealthy, powerful, privileged person with her husband. They're very high connected, and they own a lot of mansion properties. She lied. She lied, and she got caught. So the judges are part of the judiciary. The judges are part of the election process. The judge is a lawyer. She's an alleged lawyer, or gave up a license. Lawyer. Go in the same event. They just announced she's a Democrat. They're supporting her. She's a Democrat. They're supporting her. So here's what we're going to do to expose this. My job, it's not to remove them from office. Your job is to remove them from office. And the law's job is to remove them from office. And judges like this are supposed to remove them from office. But it's not happening. And here's what we're going to do. So on one of the next show that you see, the very next show that you see, is we're going to present the evidence that this lady, Kathy Stewart, does not live in District 10 in the address that she sends. She wants to represent people in District 10. This judge did not want to show that evidence. She is no longer a lawyer. She's never practiced law. We checked for 25 years in District 10. We couldn't find anything else. So why does she say when she's a lawyer, when the boss says she's not a lawyer, she doesn't have a business license? So we're going to go over Kathy Stewart's evidence and her lies and her 41 years. She's alleging she lived in District 10 and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to unpack on the lies in that application I just showed you. And then we're going to go over the laws, the laws that I apply to this judge about a fraudulent document. Because if you defraud somebody with a contract, let's say the public or another person, it voids it. If you lie on an application to get anything, it voids the application. So this judge basically said, even though she lied on the application, I'm going to give her a free pass. You know, I'm going to explain how she got to jurisdiction and was false. The ruling was false. The law was misapplied. So we're going to do number one, evidence. And on the documents that we have on Kathy and the different things that we did, I'm not going to mention it here because she's going to be ready for it. Laws that is applied to show that she has a fraud. She's walking around with a fraudulent document. Case law and authority. There's a main law that you say when under section code 141 point something, she's not supposed to lie in this document. It has to be genuine. And then there are case law, like when somebody else did it and they got in trouble and their stuff was voided, and that was supposed to be applied to her. Even though there's a law, there's case law that supports the law. And if there isn't, you go by the law. And number four, we're going to show you how she lied. We're going to put the law and we're going to put the evidence together, including supporting laws, to show you are going to be the judge, you, the public, how she lied. Let's just make you the jury. And then we're going to put her answer up. She did answer, but her answer actually hurt her. But this judge did not want to listen to the answer, except to the point where she was trying to help her dismiss the case. And I'll explain how that help happened. Then we're going to discuss what we discussed in the courtroom before Judge Purdy, what that discussion was and how it was off place, off balance, and she misapplied the law. And we're going to show you how the judge appeared to have bias and prejudice, because I'm going to do a show to tell you how to read a courtroom, how to read a judge. And I've had almost 2 decades of this, what words that a judge uses that you already lose your case. I'm going to put a little bit of that in. Then I'm going to discuss her ruling. She ruled on it. She signed on the ruling. I'm going to discuss the ruling. Then we're going to talk about the damages that this judge caused to the opponent, the voters, and public trust. Because if you have a fraudulent document, Kathy knows her document is fraudulent. She knows that. That's why she sent 3 powerful law firms to switch it, to do a distraction, to do a tactical move, to put it under jurisdiction. Hey, judge, you don't have jurisdiction, and you don't have this, and you don't have that, which is all a lie. Because the law that was applied clearly states district court judge is the one that deals with application, not what she says belongs in the appellate court, like former Councilman Carol Arnold. And then we're going to do the appeal because we appealed her. Because we want other people to look at this and show that they were both lying. Giving false information. Then I'm going to show you the political connections. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a little bit of the political connections now. And then I'm going to design the plan that we have for Texas Justice Review. I have been out of the news business for about 8 years, 7, 8 years. And I have been like a fish out of water. It has bothered me. Why are these people so corrupted? And why isn't all the news media in Dallas, they're corrupted. They're silent. Their silence is the corruption. They know what's going on at City Hall. They know that Kathy's application, or should have known, is false, and that she lied about living in that District 10 address, and she lied about being a lawyer, and she lied about saying 41 years, and she just voted in 2023 for 41 years, just started. So where were you? Where were you for 37 years? So all of that we're going to discuss. But I haven't gone after the media. We're going to do that last. But here's what I'm going to show you and what my suspicion is. I'm going to bring this little board here. And Kathy Stewart and her husband is very well connected in Dallas, Texas. We've got a lot of mansion properties, a lot of things going on. And, okay, let's turn this. So there are events happening in Dallas, right? They're mostly by the Democratic Party. Okay? Can you see that? I can't even see that. And then there is, okay, so let's darken it a little. There's events, right? And then there is lawyers that go to these events. And then there are judges that goes to these events. And it's all in one political party. So this is what you're looking for here, the connection. And whenever I go to these events, because there are good judges that goes to these events, but there are bad judges. And I watch for the bad judges. So over here, you have the lawyers connected, and then you have the judges connected, and then you have the politicians connected. All 3 goes to this event. So let's just say you have a dangerous case going on with a lawyer or a politician. The lawyers are connected when they go to these events with the party. The politicians are connected because of all the businesses that they give and campaign donation. And the judges are also part of these parties. So they go there and they have all these lunch and hang out and exchange information and support each other to win their election campaign. To win as judge, lawyers go before the judge, they get their case favored. And the politicians, they also are connected. They get donations. So there's a lot of donations that changes place here. Lawyers will donate here to the judges. And politicians will also donate to the judges. There's this campaign here. But there are chief people right up here, 1 and 2, that are in charge of this little circle here. You cannot get into that circle. You just can't get into it. If they don't like you. So there are independent judges. Those independent judges cannot get into that circle. It's a circle of people that is together. So that's when you have these 2. And her husband has a pipeline to City Hall. And her husband is the one who funneled the $9 million to go into the black community and rob them of that property they had, and then knocked it down for another $5,000. He was involved in all that money transfer. He, what I learned or what I heard or what I was told is he's very connected into City Hall. He does a lot of property sales, a lot of stuff going on. And maybe that's why the former councilman put him here and put She was appointed to the Public Improvement District, a government position. He was appointed to the Park and Recreation, a government position, by the Councilman Adam Magoo. So there's a lot of connections here. And I want to make sure you understand why this judge is looking at a very important document that is so sworn under oath and is never supposed to have gone forward. And she was just battling jurisdiction and time on the election and why shouldn't I just... It was just too suspicious. It was just too suspicious. Now, her husband has his own issues in the courtroom, and they try to get it outside of Dallas, but the chief Republican judge says, no, it's staying in Dallas. So this judge deprived me and stole, I would use the word stole, $60,000 out of my pocket a year by making a fraudulent person compete with me who is honest in what is supposed to be a free and fair election. And this judge refused to follow the law. So I am going to connect the dots with her connection to the political party. And so help me, if she's running for as a primary, I'm going to talk to her opponent and show them what she did. I'm going to talk to you about jurisdiction. Here's the jurisdiction she said she didn't have. It says the court has jurisdiction over this matter pursuant to Texas Election Code 273.801, which grants courts the authority to hear cases involving violation of election laws, including falsification of information on a ballot application. So why does she say she doesn't have jurisdiction, right? And it grants the district court. The district court is granted that power, not the appellate court. Additionally, jurisdiction is proper in district court under Government Code 24.007 and 221.002, which provides district court, which is where she is, and she said it's supposed to be in the appellate court. So that's why I have a suspect on the connections, because Kathy Stewart is very powerful. Her husband is powerful. When somebody mentioned a law firm her husband was working in, connected to all these people, they said, Serrano, do not go into that courtroom. You're going to lose because they got it piped down against you. Look at the law firm. And there was 3 of them that showed up. Why would you have 3 law firms show up if you're innocent? Shouldn't you just send one law firm and say, hey, look, I lived here. Here's my deed. You know, I'm an attorney. Here's the facts that I'm an attorney. Even though it's invalid, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, state law says if you're invalid, you can't say you're an attorney. Venue is proper in Dallas County, Texas, under Texas Civil Code and Procedures and Remedy Code 15.002A1, because it is the county where the defendant resides and where the event gives rise to the lawsuit occurred. The election codes lawsuit contesting election-related violation must be in a court with proper jurisdiction within the relevant district. Accordingly, it is the district court that has authority over ballot applications. If I can't do an application in appellate court, you can do a ballot challenge for removing name and putting names, but I don't know why. She's been a judge. She said her history said she's been a judge on the 15 judges and associate judge, and she just got elected to this position. So this is the rundown, and this is what we're going to do. And the next show you see is all the evidence that says Kathy lied, and people needs to know. One last thing. I told this judge I was going to do an appeal on Friday. Can I get a copy of her ruling? It was about 3 o'clock. They said yes at the end of the day. The end of the day, nothing on Friday, nothing on Saturday, nothing Sunday. I missed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday at 6 o'clock on the 14th. This case was on the 11th. At 6 o'clock, after closing of the appellate court, she finally signed a one-page thing and sent it to me. She wasn't looking for case law. She wasn't looking to justify her reasoning for defending a defective application. She just signed it because I think what she's trying to do, she's trying to help her, and she's trying to kill time because I just lost 5 days. And when I go to the appellate court, by the time I get to them and I do the argument, it's going to be within the election season. And then that's what she's trying to help her do. Kill it for 5 days, let it go in the election season. They're all going to vote for her. And then when they vote for her, then it's too late for him to do anything. That's what she did. 5 days later. And we had the discussion and the fight that we had with this judge is that it's taking too much time. And if you're saying it's too close to the election, this is why. She delayed it by refusing to accept the service. You're delaying it by sending it 5 days later. So you see, when I tell you they're connected, and a very powerful, powerful person. She's never been in government before. She's gotten cushy jobs as director here, director there. Never been in government doing ordinance resolutions. I have sat in the front row of a government in the council meeting for 10 years as a publisher. So don't piss off a publisher. Don't. You know, I was in the darkness for 7 years wondering, how do I restart my news business? And this is it. And there's 2 other judges, if you watch my videos, you're going to see we're all coming down. I don't care what happened for the rest of my life. Whatever judge is putting her hand in my pocket and taking food out of my table to help a corrupt politician hide the lies on her for application. Because when we were in court, I asked, listen, can we just look at the application? Just look at it and see whether or not it's truthful or not. Nope. This is your judicial system. The court says she's the one that has to do it. And if she had looked at it, she would have seen that it was defective and she would have to void it. And this one would have not been able to run for office. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're looking for. This is Serrano Keith Baldio. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.